That day, the air around Buckingham Palace was filled with excitement. The changing of the guard ceremony is one of London's most famous traditions, attracting thousands of tourists from around the world. The golden morning light bathed the thousands of flags fluttering in the breeze, creating a picturesque scene. People rushed to the barriers to secure the best position for capturing stunning images of the royal guards, dressed in bright red uniforms, black fur hats, and marching with solemnity, resembling living statues. Amidst the crowded crowd stood a young boy, Elijah, aged 8, with neatly combed black hair, holding tightly to his mother's hand. He wore a bright red sweater, chosen by his mother to match the striking uniforms of the royal guards. Despite the lively atmosphere, Elijah felt out of place, like an outsider in the crowd. This feeling was not new to Elijah. As a black boy, he often felt disconnected from the world around him. Though no one said anything, the lingering glances from those around him made him feel noticed, sometimes in an uncomfortable way. A subtle but undeniable feeling that he was different, that he didn't truly belong with them. Elijah's mother, Mara, noticed the change in his demeanor and knelt down beside him, gently comforting him. "Are you okay, Elijah?" Mara asked, her voice soft and warm. Elijah shook his head lightly, his eyes slightly misty. "I feel different," he admitted. Mara gently stroked his head. "You know, Elijah, you are very special. Today, you're going to remember this moment for the rest of your life. You can do anything you want in this life, and nothing can stop you." Though her words were simple, Mara knew that for her son, they were not just words of comfort. They were an important lesson in self-confidence and the ability to overcome the challenges life would present. Elijah looked around and felt like a grain of sand in the ocean. Despite his mother's efforts to comfort him, deep down, he still felt like an outsider. The feeling of being overlooked in a world he didn't quite belong to, as if everyone around him lived in a separate world, and he was just a passerby no one noticed. This feeling was so strong that Elijah began to step back, gripping his mother's hand tighter. He felt the weight of the unfamiliar looks, not because anyone was staring at him, but because he was one of the few different ones in the crowd. Those glances lingered in his mind, making him want to shrink away more than ever. Mara, sensing the unease in her son, didn't want to let his discomfort take hold. She knew that only love and strength could help Elijah overcome this sense of isolation. "You know," Mara continued, her voice firm and reassuring, "I used to feel just like you when I was your age. But then I realized that the world is full of beautiful things, and you can have those things just like anyone else." As the sound of drums echoed, the royal guards began to march toward the palace gates. Their footsteps struck the cobblestones in perfect, synchronized rhythm, producing a steady, powerful, and solemn sound. Tourists gathered around, their eyes fixed on the guards, unable to tear their gaze away from this magnificent sight. However, to Elijah, this scene wasn't just a ceremonial event. It was a living picture, a world where he felt small and unreachable. "Look at them, Mom," Elijah whispered, his eyes following every step of the guards. "They're so grand, like heroes from a fairy tale." Mara smiled, but inside, a small worry lingered. She knew that while Elijah could feel the greatness of these soldiers, he also felt like he could never walk alongside them. He was just a small boy, lost in a world full of people who didn't look like him. However, as the guards drew closer, something unexpected happened. One of them, standing closest to the gates, suddenly turned his head. His sharp eyes scanned the crowd before settling strangely on Elijah. The boy froze. Did he really look at me? Everything happened so quickly, but Elijah knew he wasn't imagining it. When their eyes met, an unspoken moment passed between them. A brief instant of connection, like a message that only Elijah could understand. What seemed like just a glance soon turned into something even more unexpected, leaving the entire crowd in stunned silence. As the guards continued their march, this soldier stepped out of formation. This action immediately attracted everyone's attention. A sense of suspense and surprise filled the air, as gestures like this had not happened for many years. All eyes turned to Elijah and the soldier. This time, the soldier didn't just stop at a glance. He bent down, reached into his pocket, and pulled out a shiny brass button. This small but meaningful gift was handed directly to Elijah, symbolizing respect and an acknowledgement of each person's worth. The crowd began to murmur and cameras flashed, but Elijah paid no attention to what was going on around him. All he could feel was the warmth from the button in his hand, a sensation he had never experienced before. A deep connection between humans, not through words, but through a heartfelt action. "This is for you," the soldier said, his voice deep and full of meaning. Elijah looked up, his eyes sparkling with belief and hope. His mother, Mara, could only smile in pride and emotion. The story between Elijah and the royal guard is not just a memorable moment in the life of the young boy. It also carries a lesson about kindness, respect, and how small actions can change the lives of others. The guard's act, though simple, was deeply meaningful, and it changed Elijah forever, helping him realize that every person, no matter who they are, has value and deserves respect. Before this moment, Elijah always felt like an outsider, a part of the crowd but never the center of attention. As a black boy living in a diverse world that wasn't always accepting of differences, Elijah had faced loneliness and exclusion since he was young. The stares, the unwanted remarks from friends, and even the subtle racism in school had often made him wonder whether he truly belonged in this world. But today, everything changed. When the guard looked into Elijah's eyes, a glimmer of hope sparked within him. This wasn't just a random glance. It was a look filled with understanding, a recognition that he, too, belonged in this space, that he was loved and respected. With a simple nod, the guard created a profound change in Elijah's mind. That gesture spoke volumes. "I see you. You matter." And for a boy who felt invisible like Elijah, that meant everything. Elijah didn't just receive a material gift, the brass button, but a priceless gift of self-belief. The button wasn't just a keepsake. It was a symbol of acknowledgement, proof that sometimes small actions can create profound changes, sparking self-respect and confidence within us. Not just Elijah, but everyone who witnessed that moment was changed. The crowd, once ordinary, became witnesses to a great lesson in humanity. The murmurs, the astonished looks, and the respect, these all changed not just Elijah's life, but the lives of those around him. A small action, a simple gesture, yet with an incredible impact. Through every story of kindness, we realize that great changes begin with the smallest things. Sometimes, a comforting word, a caring gesture can change someone's life, just as the royal guard changed Elijah's. This story is not just a lesson in respect and kindness, but a reminder of how we view and treat one another, especially those who may feel forgotten. Since the moment the guard handed the button to Elijah, the story spread quickly across the world. It wasn't just an emotional moment between a young boy and a soldier, but a clear proof that small acts of kindness can change the world. The photo of Elijah holding the button was quickly shared across social media, becoming an inspirational story for millions worldwide. We've all experienced moments when we felt overlooked or treated unfairly. Perhaps it was because of our race, gender, religion, or simply because of differing opinions. However, Elijah's story shows that no matter who we are, where we come from, or what we believe in, we all deserve to be recognized and respected. People who watched Elijah's story didn't just admire the soldier's action. They also reflected on themselves and society. This story made people think about how they treat others, especially those who may not have a voice, those who feel left out and unrecognized. Many shared their own stories, moments when they felt like Elijah, and how kindness and acknowledgement had changed them. Messages poured in from around the world, showing how people's perspectives and actions had changed. One man from the US shared that this story helped him realize he needed to treat others better, especially those who might be experiencing loneliness and neglect. Another person from Europe wrote that they decided to volunteer to help children in need, realizing that small actions, like the guards, could create a huge impact. This story is not just about a boy and a soldier, it's about all of us. Each of us can do something to change someone's life. Whether it's a smile, a kind word, or an act of kindness, these can create unexpected changes, affecting those around us and even a larger community. Elijah's story with the royal guard wasn't just a random act during a ceremony. It's a testament to the truth that small actions can create great change. The lesson we take from this story is that respect, acknowledgement, and kindness not only connect us but can change the lives of ourselves and others. Sometimes our world is so busy, and we overlook the small things, simple, kind actions that can change someone. Elijah's story reminds us of this. It also reminds us that sometimes just a glance, a smile, or a gentle gesture can create profound change in someone's life. That day at Buckingham Palace, the royal guard did something unexpected. His act didn't just change Elijah's life. It also transformed the community, inspiring millions worldwide about the power of kindness and respect. When we treat each other with respect, love, and understanding, we don't just change our own lives, we change the world around us. For Elijah, the brass button wasn't just a material gift, but a priceless spiritual gift. It was a symbol of the transformation he had gone through, and a reminder that he could do anything he wanted. Nothing could stop him. Elijah's story with the royal guard reminds us of the power of small actions. A glance, a kind gesture can change a life. Remember, every good deed can make a huge difference, even if it's just a small moment in someone's life. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever experienced a moment of change through a kind act? Share your story in the comments. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to share it with your friends and family. Let's spread the message of kindness and respect together. Thank you for watching.